Hello, I am Tim. Welcome to Chinese Crimes, a channel dedicated to real-life cases in China. On February 15, 2018, which was the 30th day of the Lunar New Year in Wangping Village, Hanzhong City, Shaanxi Province, according to local customs, the 30th day of each year is a day for visiting graves and worshipping ancestors. Like everyone else, after 12 o'clock noon, the Wang family was returning home after the worship ceremony. However, unexpectedly, a man wearing a hat and a mask appeared. He wielded a knife and stabbed Wang Zhongjun, 39 years old, straight, causing him to die on the spot. Then Wang Xuejun, 47 years old, was also pursued by him and stabbed, falling into the roadside ditch. It was horrifying. Within minutes, both brothers of the Wang family had died in front of many villagers. People couldn't believe what was happening. The perpetrator quickly left the scene and headed straight to the home of the victims, where the father of the two brothers, Wang Xuejun, 71 years old, was sitting alone in front of the courtyard. Before he could react, he was attacked and killed on the spot. Immediately after that, the perpetrator took a gasoline can and found Wang Xuejun's car, poured gasoline on it, and set it on fire. As the flames blazed, the murderer left. As he walked away, he shouted loudly, "After 22 years, I have finally succeeded in revenge." Although the incident was unexpected, the perpetrator also wore a hat and a mask to conceal his identity. However, many villagers immediately recognized him. He was Zhang Cao, a villager with painful memories and always lived in resentment. The 30 centimeters long sharp knife he carried was the deadly weapon for revenge. As he walked, the sharp knife was tucked into his belt, so no one dared to approach to stop him. And when the police arrived, the murderer had disappeared. The police immediately sealed off the crime scene and began investigating. 3 members of the Wang family were killed: father Wang Xuejun, eldest son Wang Xuejun, and third son Wang Zhongjun. This was clearly an attack on the entire Wang family. Among them, the second son of the family, Wang Xuejun, had just had a girlfriend after his divorce. So fortunately, he was at his girlfriend's house and was not present at the scene of the crime. Many people advised him not to return to the village for fear that he would be in danger because Zhang Cao had threatened to find him to continue the revenge. Therefore, the police quickly took Wang Xuejun and other family members to a safe place. A large-scale manhunt was launched to arrest Zhang Cao. 3 days after the murder, on the morning of February 17th, he voluntarily surrendered to the police. Immediately after that, he was taken to Wangping Village to reenact the crime scene. The homes of the perpetrator and the victims were on the same side of the road in the village, only about 10 meters apart, and from the second-floor window of Zhang's house, the whole scene of the Wang family's courtyard could be seen. During the interrogation, Zhang Cao revealed his motive for the crime. He said, "As I said when leaving the crime scene, there were only 5 words: revenge for my mother." The story that happened in 1996 was the tragedy that shattered both families at once. The death of Zhang Cao's mother, Wang Tubing, created a lot of controversy in the village. The relationship between the two families, Zhang and Wang, used to be very close. They worked together on the farm, helping each other in both work and daily life, to the extent that it made many others jealous. However, several issues later caused the affection between the two families to break down. The first was the signing of a contract with the village's rice processing plant, in which both families participated. The final agreement was that the Wang family would sign the contract in the first year, and then it would be Zhang family's turn in the second year. But when the Zhang family made some money in the first year, they decided not to give up the contract. This quickly led to a major conflict between the two families. Gradually, the Wang family felt that the Zhang family was having secret conversations with others, but they couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was. Not long after, the 2 women in the 2 families became the first to start the conflict. In June 1996, a fiery brawl erupted right on the road in front of the house. From then on, the 2 families became sworn enemies. However, they did not expect this feud to escalate to the point of destroying both families. One late evening in August 1996, Wang Xuejun, the second son of the Wang family, was relaxing outside the house when suddenly Wang Tubing passed by him and spat at him but missed. Then about 10 minutes later, Wang Tubing returned and repeated the action on Wang Fuquan's face. At that point, he became completely enraged, slapping her hard in the face, escalating the confrontation to its peak. Both families rushed out and the youngest son, Wang Zhongjun, also joined the fray. Wang Tubing grabbed an ironing table from her daughter and hit Wang Zhongjun directly on the forehead. Then Wang Tutan, the father of the two brothers, shouted, "Beat her to death, or she will kill your brother." Wang Zhongjun grabbed a stick from the roadside woodpile and hit Wang Tubing hard on the head, causing her to collapse to the ground. Both brothers simultaneously attacked the woman. At that point, Wang Tubing gradually lost the ability to resist and lay helpless on the ground. Her husband, Mr. Zhang, tried to help her several times, but unfortunately he was also knocked down multiple times. Zhang Cao, the 13-year-old boy, hugged his mother, crying bitterly. The heart-wrenching cries of the child caused everyone to rush over, but it was too late. News of the conflict between the two families quickly spread throughout the village. Wang Tubing was unconscious and was taken to the hospital in the town. However, there they received an unexpected news. Wang Tubing had died. She did not survive because she had many life-threatening head injuries. After that, the family decided to bring Wang Tubing's body back home. The police immediately arrived at the scene and decided to investigate on the spot to search for evidence. They knew that the youngest son, Wang Zhongjun, had done it, so they released Wang Tutan and Wang Fuquan back home. Immediately after that, a group of forensic experts came to examine the body right on the street in front of Zhang's house. This attracted the attention of many people, including Zhang Cao, a 13-year-old boy. When witnessing the scene of the dismembered body, everyone felt scared. But surprisingly, Zhang Cao became extremely calm. He no longer cried and just quietly observed throughout the time. When the family brought the body back for burial, it was also the time when Zhang Cao began to experience the most painful days of his life. In December 1996, the case was brought to trial at the Nanchong District Court. The judge convicted Wang Zhongjun of committing homicide under the age of 18. He was also willing to confess and accept the consequences of his actions. However, due to the victim's provocation and some errors for which she was responsible, Wang Zhongjun's sentence was mitigated. After the trial, Wang Zhongjun was sentenced to 7 years in prison for intentionally causing injury resulting in death. Regarding compensation, the victim's family representative requested economic compensation of up to 100,000 yuan. However, the court decided that Wang Zhongjun was still a student, coupled with the difficult economic situation of his family, so they only awarded a discretionary amount for compensation. In the end, the Wang family was ordered to pay a total of about 9,640 yuan to the victim's family. However, the Zhang family spent up to 8,140 yuan for the funeral arrangements, so ultimately, they only received compensation of 1,500 yuan. The victim's family felt dissatisfied with the verdict, believing that something unfair had happened. Some witnesses during the trial were relatives of the Wang family, meaning they would be biased towards the defense, and their testimonies would be beneficial to the other side. Moreover, the eldest son of the Wang family held a high position in the local government. So many witness statements would not reflect the truth. The verdicts also followed the Wang family's narrative that all three involved in the scuffle, but only one juvenile was convicted. Immediately after the incident, the two families went back to their separate lives and never spoke to each other again. This homicide case became the topic of discussion among the villagers for a long time. At this point in Zhang Cao's subconscious, a deep-seated flame of hatred was ignited. In 2001, after graduating from junior high school, Cao enlisted in the military and was sent to Xinjiang. Life in the military was tough, but he chose to join. One time, the platoon leader asked the new recruits why they chose to enlist, and Zhang Cao answered that he wanted to build up his strength to prepare for avenging his mother. In 2003, Cao returned to his hometown, after being discharged from the military and started working in Guangdong to make a living. But life wasn't easy as he lacked skills and knowledge, so he was lured into an illegal den. Despite facing difficulties, Cao remained cheerful. He didn't smoke, drink, or engage in debauchery, and when idle, he would just lie in his room watching TV. In 2005, he had a girlfriend, and by 2007, Cao had built a new house and decided to add a second floor to make a bridal suite for himself. However, in the same year, he broke up with his girlfriend because he couldn't afford to get married after completing the house. Moreover, he couldn't let go of the hatred for losing his mother, so he feared it would affect her. In the first half of 2017, Zhang Cao, aged 35, went abroad to work in Fiji. However, due to unfavorable working conditions, he returned home in August of that year. Cao decided not to work anymore and spent time with his father until after the Lunar New Year. During this time, Cao lived a normal life, meeting friends and relatives, but he always paid attention to the Wang family. The eldest son, Wang Xuejun, had been promoted, and because he was not directly involved in the incident, he returned home more often. The second son, Wang Xuejun, rarely returned to the village because he had moved away after graduating. As for the third son, Wang Zhongjun, he had completed his juvenile detention with 4 years of rehabilitation and 3 years of imprisonment. After his release, Wang Zhongjun graduated and earned a living in Xianan. The Wang siblings had repeatedly advised their mother to move away and not live there for fear of retaliation, but their father disagreed. He believed that the matter had been resolved through the legal system, and the youngest son had also been sentenced to 7 years in prison. They had officially cleared all debts with the Zhang family, so there was nothing to worry about. Every year, Wang Zhongjun rarely returned to visit his relatives' graves, but the Lunar New Year holiday of 2018 became a special occasion. On the 21st of the 12th lunar month, he returned to Wangping Village and decided to stay. It was the longest 10 days that Wang Zhongjun had stayed in his hometown since the incident occurred. Everyone enthusiastically prepared for Lunar New Year, but no one knew that Zhang Cao had devised a plan for revenge during that Lunar New Year. Before the incident occurred, there were warning signs, but no one paid attention to them. Cao withdrew about 40,000 yuan from the bank and gave it to his father. At that time, he thought the money would be used to buy seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides. It was only later revealed that this was the entire sum that Zhang Cao had saved over the years. Moreover, he also prepared a hat, a mask, a knife, a gasoline can, and other tools, waiting for the right opportunity to act. On February 15, 2018, Mr. Zhang left home early to visit the ancestors' shrine on the mountain, while Cao was washing clothes at home and did not accompany him. When his father left the house, Cao called his older brother home early for dinner, and then quietly observed the Wang family on the second floor of their house. His targets were Wang Xuejun and Wang Zhongjun. When they were returning from visiting the grave, when the opportunity arose, Cao launched a sudden attack and killed both brothers on the road before using a knife to break into the house and murder Wang Xuejun sitting at the door. Additionally, he saw other women in the Wang family, but he only looked at them and said, "Because you are women, I will not kill you." After committing the crime, he walked out of the village, threw the knife into a river, and then hid in the riverbank grass for the night. But he soon realized he couldn't run away forever, so Zhang Cao decided to surrender. On January 8, 2019, Zhang Cao's case was brought to trial at the Hanzhong Intermediate People's Court. Zhang Cao shared with everyone about his painful childhood, when his mother died in his arms, and he also witnessed the autopsy, but felt helpless. He hoped the court would consider these factors. Moreover, before the trial, Cao's father borrowed 150,000 yuan to request a psychiatric assessment from Beijing's evaluation agency for his son. According to the evaluation, Cao suffered from delusional personality disorder due to the influence of the incident at the age of 13, leading to limitations in criminal responsibility. However, the court rejected the request for testimony from the 3 experts. The court believed that while Qing Chuan had been punished for injuring Cao's mother, Cao Cao harbored resentment and committed the crime with cruel methods. Ultimately, the court sentenced Zhang Cao Cao to death. Although he appealed, on April 11th the appeal was dismissed, and the death sentence was upheld. On July 17, 2019, Zhang Cao Cao was officially executed. This case shook the entire region and sparked intense debate. Some argued that Zhang Cao Cao sought revenge for his mother, so he should have his sentence mitigated. However, others believed that killing 3 people could not be forgiven, regardless of the reason. News of Zhang Cao Cao's death has quickly spread far and wide. Wang Xuejun, the sole survivor in the victim's family, shared, "I am satisfied with this verdict, but Zhang Cao Cao's death cannot bring back the lives of my 3 relatives." In this case, there are no winners or losers, only pain and vigilance. Perhaps because Zhang Cao Cao loved his mother too much, his hatred blinded him and led him to commit such cruel acts. It's a sad story, but it also reflects some realities of life. Do you know of any similar cases? And this is today's case. Do you have any thoughts you'd like to share? Leave a comment below. Chinese Crimes will continue to analyze real cases in China in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video to support us. And for now, goodbye and see you again.